So today's the day to build your website with Squarespace. Well, first of all, you made an amazing decision. Squarespace is by far our favorite website builder. It's what our website is built with and what we normally recommend to our clients and our students. It's really easy, intuitive to use, and really, really powerful. In this Squarespace tutorial for beginners video, I'm gonna walk you through everything you need to know to build your website. If you wanna follow along with this video, I'll put a link down below in the description where you can sign up for Squarespace. You can get a 2-week free trial. This is our affiliate link, so if you click on it and make a purchase, we may earn a small commission at no extra cost for you. Also, if you use our discount code, you can get 10% off your first purchase. With that said, why don't we hop on the computer and get started? Okay, so here we are at squarespace.com. You can get started right here or in the top right corner. It's gonna take you to the template page. So here you can pick whatever template you want. You see they have a bunch of different categories. So online store, portfolio, membership, blog, launch page. Here's the popular designs, you have for your CV, for fashion, professional services. There's a whole host of different templates. But the thing is, with the newer version of Squarespace, you can choose a template, but you can pretty much customize everything. So you're not wed to, hey, I chose the wrong template and this isn't gonna work exactly how I wanted. You can pretty much just edit anything and essentially replicate one of the other templates if you wanna make changes further down the line. So why don't we choose something for professional services today? And you can see here's a bunch of the different options. And so if you find something you like, you can either click on preview or start. And which one should we use today? How about the Nolan? Start with Nolan. And then so here, if you don't have an account with Squarespace, you can sign up with Google, Apple, or with your email. We obviously already have an account, so I'm gonna log in. Okay, so once you've created your account, it's gonna take you to a page, something like this, where you choose the name for your Squarespace website. Let's call it JJ's Consulting, and then continue. And then it's gonna walk you through a bit of a tutorial of what you can do. You can just skip this. And so this is the main layout for Squarespace. So along the left-hand side, you have pages, design, commerce, marketing, scheduling, analytics, profiles, settings, and help. Those are the basic categories where you can make all the changes for your website. What you can do here is you could click on pages and view all the different pages and edit them one by one. But obviously we're already on the home page, so why don't we just get started editing here? So you can click on edit in the top left corner, and the edit site header is already highlighted, so that would be a good place to start. So what we can do here, so right now you see the global header looks like this. If you click on desktop, essentially what you can do now is you can click on the header layout. So right now it has the logo, then it has some of the separate pages, and then if you have a button, it would be along the side here. For example, if you want the logo to be in the center, you can change that. I like this layout. This is generally what I would go with. And then it allows you to have, here are some different options of how you want the header set up on mobile. Definitely when you're creating your website, a lot of your traffic is gonna come from mobile. So as you build stuff on your computer like this, make sure to check the mobile version to make sure everything is seen. This stuff isn't kind of squished together or something isn't visible. Let's go back to the desktop here. I think the layout we're good with. So there's a couple of things you can have: the full width or inset, or a couple options you can change. You can change the padding. So basically add some padding to the top of the page, some spacing of the elements you can change. And let's go back to global. And then what we may want to do here, so right now we just have the site title for JJ's Consulting, but a lot of you probably have a logo you want to add as opposed to just a text. So you can click on that here, upload a file, and here is JJ's Consulting logo. We're going with fuchsia today. If you have a separate logo for mobile, you can add that there. And then there's different options as far as the height of the logo. So if you want to make it a little bit bigger, you can do something like that. And then if we go back, and then from here you have the elements. So right now, none of these are turned on. So if you had a specific button, so say get started is what it has normally. If you want to have a button in the corner, you can add that. If you want to show your social links in the header, you can add those. Or if this were an e-commerce page and you want the cart in the top right-hand corner, you can add that. Moving on to colors. So right now this is set to transparent. So it's going to show whatever this color is right here. But if we want to edit it, we could make it gray, light, we can do whatever like so, but I like that it blends in with whatever it is that's behind it. The other thing to keep in mind is the fixed position. So right now it's turned on. If you turn it off, basically when you scroll down the page, the header is going to disappear. If you have fixed position on, what's going to happen, scroll back means you scroll down, and as soon as you start to scroll up again, you're going to see the site header and be able to click on those links. or there's the basic option as well. It says here that you may not see the movement while you're editing the page, but if you're viewing the normal website, it'll work just fine. And then so those are the options that we're going to look at for the header. Moving on, so any place that you want to add something. So for example, right here, you see add section. So click on that and there's a bunch of different pre-made templates that'll pop up for you. And it already knows, hey, this is the headline section of the website. So we're going to show you that first, but there's lists, gallery, images, quotes, text, video, appointments, contact, donation, form, newsletter, products, reservation, social, tour dates, calendar, chart. I'm not going to read all of them. I probably don't need to add something way at the very top of the page like this. I'm pretty happy with the layout we have right now. But for example, if I want to add a section here, maybe, what do we want to add? Maybe a video. And so you can see there's a couple of different layouts. Do you want it to take up the entire width, or do you want to have text along either the left side or the right side and your video? So for example, we could choose this. If you want to edit any of the text, you can do that. Here is my amazing video. Okay, so you can edit the text here. If you want to edit anything else, so you could make this bold, italic, you could make a link here. We could align it to the right. We could make it bullets, a numbered list. There's a whole bunch of different formatted options. If you want to change it to a heading, a different paragraph, anything else, you can make those edits right here. Then for this video, if you were to click on the video and then click on edit. So let's go find one of our YouTube videos. ConvertKit email automation is what we're gonna have. So ConvertKit's the main email marketing software that we use and we recommend, have a bunch of tutorials for it. So maybe we would want to add this here to there. Okay, so here is the new video. It's going to pull in the thumbnail for me. And there we go. So adding a new section, adding a video, editing the text. The other thing is, for a website builder like Wix, you can just drag stuff wherever you want it. Squarespace works essentially with spacers. And so you can see right here, there's a spacer that kind of separates this text from the video. So one thing we could do if we wanted to spread this out a little bit, we could make the spacer smaller. If we wanted to put a spacer on this side, it's going to change the formatting like so. So if you have something that's not quite laid out how you want it to, so what you could do here is you see these pluses. So if we go here, now you have a bunch of options to edit within one of the sections. So if we wanted to add another text section, a button, form, audio, line. So here's a line. And then what do we want to add? Something maybe right below it. Here we go. And then so you can see this is essentially how you go about building the page. You can add a new section and then you can basically fill in the section with whatever you want. Also, if you don't have a specific thing like this that you want, you have the blank section that you can add as well. And then for anything else you want to edit, so if we click on this, you can see, let's edit this image and let's go to remove image, add image. And then I just downloaded a bunch of stock photos from Pexels. We have a whole video on, where you can find free stock images. There's a ton of options out there. I'll link to the video up above if you want to check it out. Let's see, how about this picture here? If, for example, you want to make this image a link to something else, you can add the link here. One of the things, if it's a link to something external, you can copy and paste or type the link in. If it's something within the page, you can essentially go through. I think all the pages are demos right now, so it's not letting me choose the other ones, but you can just type in the name of one of the pages on your website. Or, if it's an external site, you can just type it in here. The other thing you may want to say, team meeting. And then one of the other interesting things with Squarespace, so for example, if you have an image that may change as the screen changes, or you only want to use like the center of this image, this little dot here is like where the focus is. And so if the screen gets smaller, it's essentially going to focus around this point. Done with that. Again, if you want to change any of the text, if you want to create a link, change the formatting. Here, for example, this button. So if we want to edit the link for the button, we can edit the text right here and just say services, something like that. Again, adding sections, more buttons, who we've worked with. And then so here is the footer. So with the footer, like the header is going to show up on all of the pages. So let's see here, edit the footer. And then so what do we want to do? Do we want made with Squarespace? I don't think that needs to be on here. Let's delete that. if, for example, let's do add a section here, and maybe we want to add our social links. So, one of the things it's going to put in as default Squarespace for a lot of stuff. So make sure to go in and change that. So we have Instagram, let's go back, and then you can add other links. You basically have to just copy and paste the URL. And then it obviously recognizes where the link is from. So it's going to give you the YouTube icon if we want to do the same thing. Let's say Pinterest. Okay, so here's our Spanish Pinterest, but you kind of get the idea. Add social link. Oops, Pinterest. There. Okay, so we have the links. Now if we click on design, so for example, if we want this to be left align, right align, do we want a border for the section? And then we have, let's hold on a second. Now we can see them. Okay, so here's the borders around the different images. So here's no border. Here is a square, here's a circle. You can see with everything here, we can make them extra large, extra small, or just right. So that's the header. Also, the header is going to be on all of the pages, if I didn't say that earlier. So that's essentially making edits to the home page. And then whenever you're done editing something, make sure to click on the save button. Homepage edited. One of the other things you're going to notice as you're editing the pages is it's going to show up as demo if you have not clicked on any of the pages yet. So here, as soon as you've clicked on it and viewed this, it's going to change it to kind of a normal page. Here's kind of a pre-made template for showing off your work. And so you can see here's the footer again. Any of these things that I wanted to go in and edit, I could easily do that like so. So this is actually a further page essentially. So this is a more detailed page of our work. And then I can go back to our work here. Also, for example, one of the things you'll want to do is click on the settings wheel. And what you're going to see here is the title of the page. So our work, the navigation title, here's what the URL is going to be. So your domain /our-work. Also for all of your pages, if you want it to show up in Google search or other search results, make sure to click on SEO for all of your pages and then come and write a longer title and a description. So this is essentially what would show up in search results. So if you write, here's an amazing long title about our work and why you should us to build an amazing. Obviously for each of these, you would want to include some of the main keywords of what you would want to rank for. Another thing is here is if you don't have a image here, it'll just pull in kind of the main image from your website. You can essentially go and choose, say, this image. So if someone shares this link on Facebook, Twitter, somewhere like that, it's going to pull in this image with the link. So those are the main things for when you're editing any of the pages on the website. And then to go back to pages, you can click back here. Then again, you have, so here is our services. If again, you want to add, click on edit first. And then if you wanted to add another section here, you could just click like so and add anything you see here. One example could be, so if you wanted to, this is our services. One of the things you may want to do is say have a form for someone to contact you. So as I mentioned earlier, we use ConvertKit for our email marketing. And so what you can do, for example, is here is a form saying join the wait list. If you click on publish, here is the HTML, or just click copy in the corner. And then if we go back here, we can copy and paste that. And then so now we have, join the wait list. And so again, so we would probably want to tell people what this is about. We could add text. So if you want to work with us, sign up for here. Something like that. Someone could join the wait list. That's essentially how you can add custom code to parts of your website. Again, don't forget to click on save. One quick thing while you're editing one of the pages. So if we click on this, if you click on, this is where you can view mobile at any time. And then if you click on this, you can kind of update the site styles. Here, we're going to get into more of what you see here when we get into the design section. So one of the other things to keep in mind, you have the main navigation and you have not linked pages. So For example, if this was the main services page, but then you had 5 different services that each had their own page, you would create those pages and have them down here. So if you just say, blank page and say service 2. So this isn't going to show up in the menu here, and you would probably somewhere here on the services page. So let's say content strategy, edit first. So if I highlight content strategy, make link to page, and then say services 2. If someone was already viewing services, they may want to view the content strategy page that doesn't show up in the site header. The other thing is here, if you want to change the order, you can just drag them around like so, and that's how that's the order they're gonna be in. If, for example, company, you don't want to be up there anymore, move it down below, and you can see it disappears from the site header, but the page still exists. So with the contact page, one of the important things here is to update this form. So name, email, subject, message, this is all created, that's great. But one of the things you want to do is essentially edit the form. And what you'll have to do is it's not storing this information. So generally what we would do is go in here and add your email address. So Jeff at something like this. And then so what would happen now with this saved is anytime someone signs up to this form, it's going to send you an email. Contact page, ready to go. One thing you may want to add is a blog. So we have a whole video on how to create a blog and make money from it. I'll link to that up above. You should check it out. Here we can scroll down. Here is the blog. So they have a bunch of different layouts here. One of the things that I generally recommend doing is thinking about the main blog page. Do you want the content to cover the whole page like this? Or when someone visits the blog, do you maybe want to have a couple of different articles showing up so they can choose something from there? There's also kind of this option here. Maybe this one. So we have, just call it the blog, not blog 3. Then to manage the blog, what you're going to want to do is there's basically 4 fake articles in here. So you want to just go through and delete all of those. Okay, so to create content for the blog, just click on the plus sign right here. And then what you can do is, here's my first blog post. There will be really good. And then so with any of the content, let's say you wanted to go through, if you wanted to here add, say, an image, you could click here, image, add image. How about this one? And so if you are done writing this, so you can see you're gonna have a couple of options. So you can save, publish, schedule. So if you want this to come out at a specific time, if we just save it for now, one of the things, if you click on the 3 dots here, here's all the different settings, which is similar to the other pages. So for the content, so you can see it's in draft. If you wanna add tags and categories, you can do that, turn on or off comments. Then within options, you can have a thumbnail image here. This is what the URL for the blog post is going to be. If you want this to be different, you can go in and edit it. If we just say, so if we wanted to maybe just be first blog post, we can shorten it. And then for the SEO, so you want to add an SEO title and description right here. If you want a specific image to show up when sharing on social media, add that there. And that's all for the settings. If you want to go in and publish it now, settings, status, published, save. So that's the main part to run through with pages, how to edit a page, how to change the navigation, how to create new pages, etc. Moving on from there, the next is the design piece. So we have the site styles to get started. So there's a bunch of different options here. So to get going, we have here is the font that we chose right now. So there's different font packs essentially. So if we go to switch, you can see they have a bunch of kind of pre-made templates that mix and match fonts that look good together. If you're not a graphic designer, I'm not a graphic designer, I would recommend choosing something that they have created for you. So we could change this to Work Sans, and I think probably saw some changes made. And then we can go through, if we want to make the basic size slightly bigger, you can see it's updating here. And then it's probably slightly changing this text as well. And then so if you wanted to go through and say, hey, I want Work Sans for headings and paragraphs, but buttons should be something else, you can go through and make more specific changes here to the fonts. Okay, so clicking on colors now. So this is the general template, or this is the general palette for this particular template. But if you click on Edit Palette, you can choose any different kind of combination of colors here. And then, for example, if you wanted to edit one of these particular colors, so this blue is over here. If you're like, hey, I think this should be more, say, this color blue, you can go through and essentially tweak any one of these. So if you want this to be, you can see now the darkest color is now being, so you can see the gray that changed. I could go back to black, the white, which is probably used right here. You can see probably if I change that, now this is a bluish color. So you can kind of choose with maybe one of the templates or one of the palettes that's closest to your brands, and then go through and edit each of the specific colors. Moving on from colors, let's go back one more. You have, you know, some small animations for when you're changing pages, things like that. I generally don't add this. Then you have spacing, so page width max, the site margin, so you can see that it adds margin along the side like so. Reset to default. So if you don't like any of the changes you made, you can reset like I just did back to the beginning, how the template was set up. So you can see that it made the logo smaller and everything else. I want to go to one of the pages that includes a button. So, okay, so there's buttons here. We're good. So then if you go back again to design and then site styles, buttons, there we go. Okay, so right now the button is solid, but if you change to outline, you can see it changes like this. The shape is right now pill, so it's the sides are complete kind of half circles. Rounded looks like that, and then square like so. Then you can change the padding, which is essentially how big the button is around whatever text you have. I think how it was fine. Okay, and then image blocks, you can change a whole bunch of different things around your images. I'm not going to go through each one of these, knowing that you can make lots of edits to the image blocks. Product items also have a ton of different formattings. And then that I think is good for now. Let's go back to design. So site styles we cover. Browser icon, which is called a favicon. So this is something right here. You can see this is the normal kind of Squarespace icon, which, you know, it's very clear where your website's built. We recommend updating that. So I created one in Canva. Really, really easy to do. Of course, it's fuchsia. Add that here and then save. Let's refresh the page so we can see there. Okay, so now you can see my pink initials. Browser icon, so lock screen. So if you had something set for a password, the checkout page, you can design what that's gonna look like. We do have a tutorial for how to create an e-commerce website with Squarespace. I'll link to that up above if you wanna check it out. The other thing is to create a custom 404 page. So if someone types in your website / page 8 and page 8 is not a real page, it's gonna show this error. A lot of companies try to make something kind of funny, joke around a little bit, something creative that, you know, doesn't make the person feel bad that they put something in wrong, or potentially you put a link to something that didn't exist. Otherwise, it's going to show you just the normal system default, or essentially what you could do is if someone puts in something wrong, just say, hey, redirect them to the home page, which that's fine too. Then you have an access denied screen. You have social sharing logo optional. So if you want a social logo icon, you can add that right here. Custom CSS, if you're watching this tutorial, I imagine you're probably not an expert in building websites and using custom CSS, so we're not going to go through that today. I'm not an expert either. Then there's a whole section for commerce. We're not going to go through this in today's video, but if you're looking to sell online, Squarespace is a great, easy to use option. Moving on from commerce, you have a lot of marketing functionality within Squarespace. One of the first thing is email campaigns. So I can't say that I have used Squarespace email. Like I said, probably several times. We use ConvertKit generally. MailChimp is also really popular. If you want me to do a tutorial on email with Squarespace, let me know down below in the comments. But let's close out of that. Moving on from that, so you have profiles, which are essentially your audience. So if you had signups, if you have purchases, that's gonna be stored and viewed right here. Okay, back to marketing. From there, you have SEO. So they have an SEO checklist, Google search keywords, hire an expert. Here's what the main title format's going to be. You can update the SEO site description. Here's how pages come up. Here's how item comes up. You can make some small edits here. More of it's done kind of on an individual page basis. Then you have location management. So if you have physical locations that you manage through Google My Business, you can do that here. Next would be promotional pop-ups. So something like this, join our emailing list. You could obviously make it more attractive and say, hey, get our free guide, give something away for free, what we generally talk about if you want to get email signups. But you could have this pop up. You can change the layout. You can change the display and timing. So right now, let's see, it would only show once every 30 days. It can show on a timer after 5 seconds. It can show on scroll, on timer, and on scroll. Any first page, only on certain pages. There's a ton of customization available here for the pop-up. The next is the announcement bar. And so let's turn that on. So here's the announcement right here. One of the things here, you can add essentially a link to, let's say, services to save. So you could say, check out our new service and then save. And so this is going to show up, and this is a link to whatever page you chose. Let's go and turn this off. Save. Back to marketing. So Instagram stories. So this is an app I think Squarespace bought, which kind of like Canva. I'll put here's essentially what it looks like on my phone. So I kind of downloaded the app, scrolled through it. You can basically create templates for your Instagram stories and for other types of images essentially. But that's not what we're focused on today. So Instagram stories, products on Instagram is another thing. So if you are selling through Squarespace and want to have that catalog connected to Facebook and Instagram to be able to sell on Instagram, that can be done right here. Facebook pixel and ads. So we have a bunch of videos on how to run ads with Facebook. I'll link to the video above on, the Facebook pixel, which is really, really important for creating ads that perform well and the tracking. Okay, after that, we have Pinterest save button. So you can turn on for blogs for all pages. It's basically a little Pinterest icon in the corner so someone could easily pin content from your website. There, good enough. Okay, so you have small, rectangle, circle. You can see there's a couple of different options here. Then one thing to keep in mind that's really, really helpful if you're just getting started out when running ads is you can get Google Ads credit. So essentially, I'm not in the US right now, but generally what happens is I think you spend $25 and they give you a free $100. So it's a really great deal to test out Google Ads where you spend a little bit of money and get some free money for your first ads to see how well it works. Okay, marketing, that's what we have there. Scheduling, so Squarespace bought Acuity Scheduling. And so this is really, really powerful if you have some type of service business where you want people to be able to make a purchase and schedule a meeting with you. This is definitely something worth checking out. If you want to see a tutorial on how this works, write Acuity Scheduling down in the comments. But next thing would be analytics. So with here, it's going to track everything: sales, traffic, the geography of your traffic, sales by product, purchase funnel, abandoned cart, traffic sources. It's not as powerful as say Google Analytics, but it's going to give you quite a bit of information here. Obviously, we just created the page, so nobody has visited yet. Then down below, you have profiles, which is basically, this was within the marketing section too. Here's all the people that have given you their contact information. And then moving on to settings, there's quite a bit of stuff here, so bear with me. Okay, so site availability right now is set to private, so only people that can log into Squarespace can see this. If I want to share this with friends, let's say, and it's not public yet, you can go to password protected and then say whatever, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now it's password protected with 1 through 6. Save. I'm going to update this link in a second as well, so it's something that's easier to remember. Okay, then you have members area. So here's where you can add a members area. Moving on from here, language and region. So yep, I'm in Mexico City, set to English. Then you have business information. Here's where you would add your contact phone number, email, physical location, social links. So you can see I already did some of these again, but if there are other links you want to add, you can add them here, or where you saw me adding it with specific pages and the social link icons. Then connected accounts. So here, for example, you can connect Facebook and LinkedIn and Pinterest. Extensions. So there's a bunch of different things for shipping, taxes, accounting, things like that you can add to your Squarespace account. Then permissions. So if there's somebody else that you want to invite as a contributor, there's a couple of different options here. So admin, billing, content creator, analytics, comment moderator, store manager. You have all these different types of contributors that you can add to your Squarespace website. Then domains. So if you wanted to get a domain through Squarespace, if you have a certain level of subscription, you can get a free domain for a year, but generally we end up purchasing our domains from other websites that end up coming out cheaper in the long run. So it could be $20 a year through Squarespace, or kind of $10-ish from, say, Namecheap, Pork Bun, or there's a whole bunch of other ones. We have a whole video about it that I'll link to up above. But for right now, we're not going to go through all that. But as a very bare minimum, we should change what the Squarespace website is. So if we say JJ Consulting, rename, confirm, I think it's going to reset the website, and then we'll go back to where we just were. Okay, so you can see domains now. So I could send jjconsulting.squarespace.com. So we can let's just type it out now, jjconsulting.squarespace.com. And so I'm obviously logged in right now, but if I sent that to somebody else, they could put in the 1 through 6 password and see what I was working on. Here's where if you click on a domain that you own, so you type this in, it says, hey, this domain is owned by Namecheap or wherever it is, and then it'll walk you through the steps on how to make that connection. It's really, really easy. Once you upgrade, then you'll be able to connect the domain, then publish your website there. Another nice thing is with, I think, the business plan and above, you can use Google Workspace free for 1 year. That's essentially what we recommend doing for your business email. Don't be using Gmail or Hotmail or something like that for your business email, please. Okay, then below billing and account information. So when you're ready to upgrade after your website's built, here's where you make the changes here, connect your domain, everything ready to rock and roll. Mobile information bar. Then you have cookie and visitor editor, blogging. And then there's a couple important things I want to point out here in advance. So external API key. So for Google Analytics, what we end up using to have better tracking than just Squarespace Analytics, you enter the number right here. API, code injection. If anything asks you to add specific code to the header or footer, you basically go in here and paste it, and it would include this code on all the pages across your website. That's basically it. You have a website. If you upgraded, made the payment, published on your domain, and then hopefully you're creating content on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube, whatever it is, and driving a ton of traffic to your Squarespace website. If you want to learn more about Squarespace, we do have other tutorial videos. I'll link to those right here. Also, we have a bunch of videos on other website builders. If you want to check those out, there's another playlist right here. Hope to see you in those and future videos. Bye-bye.